Have you ever whispered a prayer into the darkness and felt like no one was listening? Have you ever begged God for a breakthrough but heard only silence? You're not alone. Today we're diving deep into the hidden reasons why it can feel like God isn't answering your prayers and the incredible truth of what's really happening behind the scenes. Stick with me because by the end of this journey, you'll see God's heart in a way you never have before. Mary and Martha had done everything right. They loved Jesus. They believed in his power. And when their brother Lazarus grew deathly ill, they sent word, fast. Lord, the one you love is sick. John 11 verses 3. Imagine their urgency. Imagine their hope. They thought, of course he'll come running. Of course he'll heal Lazarus. But Jesus stayed 2 more days where he was. 2 days. While Lazarus fought for his life. 2 days. While Mary and Martha waited, hearts breaking, scanning the horizon for their miracle. And Jesus didn't come. By the time he finally arrived, Lazarus was already dead, buried, gone. Have you ever felt like Mary and Martha, waiting, praying, and wondering if Jesus was even listening? But here's what they didn't know, verse Jesus wasn't ignoring them. He was orchestrating something greater. He said, verse, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. John 11, verse 4. Sometimes what looks like a delay is really a setup for a resurrection. Have you ever felt like God's delay was devastating, but later realized he was working behind the scenes? Drop your story in the comments below. Joseph had dreams, big ones, dreams of leadership, destiny, and honor. But his reality, betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten for years. Where was God? Right there with him, molding him, shaping him, preparing him. Genesis 39 verses 21 says the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor. When it feels like your prayers have hit a wall, it might not be punishment. It might be preparation. God was using the crushing to build the character Joseph needed to lead an entire nation. Think about it. If God answered every prayer instantly, would you be ready for the responsibility, the influence, the weight of the blessing? Sometimes delay is God's mercy. What's something you're waiting for right now that you believe God is using to grow you? Share it below. Someone needs to hear it. Paul, a man who'd given everything to Christ, shipwrecked, beaten, imprisoned, hated. And yet, even Paul had prayers that went unanswered. In 2 Corinthians 12, verses 7-9, Paul wrote verses, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. We don't know exactly what it was, a physical sickness, a spiritual attack, chronic pain. Whatever it was, Paul begged God to remove it. But the answer was verses number. God said verses, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12 verses 9. Sometimes God says no, not because he doesn't love us, but because he's doing something deeper in us, something greater than comfort. He's forming Christ within us. Maybe you're asking God to remove the struggle, but he's using the struggle to reveal your strength. Have you ever heard a no from God, but later realized it was exactly what you needed? Share your story below. Hannah's heart ached with longing. Year after year, she prayed for a child, and year after year, nothing. Even worse, she was mocked for her barrenness. In 1 Samuel 1 verse 10, it says in her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. Have you ever prayed so hard it felt like your soul was breaking? But God wasn't ignoring Hannah. He was preparing her, preparing Samuel, the prophet who would change Israel's destiny. When the timing was finally right, God gave her more than just a son. He gave her a legacy. Maybe you're praying for something good, but God's waiting until the timing bursts something greater. Is there a dream you're still believing for, even after years? Encourage someone else in the comments today. Sometimes the unanswered prayer is God's protection. Maybe that job you didn't get would have crushed your spirit. Maybe that relationship you begged for would have derailed your calling. Psalm 84 verse 11 says, "No good thing does he withhold from those whose walk is blameless." If he's withholding something, it's because he sees the whole picture. Have you ever looked back and thought, thank God he didn't give me what I asked for? Tell us about it below. Job lost everything, his children, his wealth, his health. And for chapter after chapter, Job cried out, and the heavens seemed silent. Yet through it all, Job clung to this truth verses, though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13, verse 15. God wasn't punishing Job. He was proving Job's love. True faith isn't shown when everything goes right. True faith shines when everything goes wrong, and you still worship. God wants your heart, not just your list of needs. Even Jesus, even the Son of God, knew what it was to cry out in agony. In Luke 22 verses 42, he prayed verses, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." He asked for the suffering to pass, but the Father's plan was redemption through the cross. Your unanswered prayer? It's not because God doesn't care. It's because your story, like Christ's, is part of a greater victory. Have you ever realized your greatest pain became someone else's greatest blessing? Share in the comments. You never know whose life your story could change. When God is silent, keep praying. When heaven feels closed, keep believing. When the answers don't come, keep trusting. Because God isn't ignoring you. He's inviting you deeper. James 5:16. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Don't stop. Don't give up. If you're committing today to pray with new faith, drop a fire emoji in the comments. Let's believe together. Friend, God sees you. God hears you. And his heart for you is greater than you can imagine. Your prayer is not wasted, your tears are not unseen, and your breakthrough is closer than you know. If you're feeling abandoned right now, if heaven seems silent, don't stop praying. Instead, keep trusting even when you can't trace him. Keep walking even when you can't see the way. Let his word be louder than your fears. Remember Jesus' promise in John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. If this touched your heart, smash that like button. Subscribe so you never walk this journey alone. Share this video with someone who needs hope today. Be blessed and thank you.